I'm super excited for having another episode of the Pivot series. And today, it's going to be decadent. As a matter of fact, it's going to be simply decadence all the way. With me is stationery designer for all kind of bespoke events, Stacey Holder, who has not taken the pivot once, but twice in her life. And trust me, both times have been a dance. So I want you to meet Stacey and get to know why her pivot is purely inspirational. And I know you're going to love this segment. How are you, Stacey?
I'm good, Gaynelle. How are you?
Excellent. I want you to start by giving me one word that describes you that no one else would believe.
That word would be wallflower.
Don't believe you.
Yes, people look at the red hair and the bright colors and think that, I'm out there, but no, I like to sit back and be in the background of everything and watch and listen. I don't like being the center of attention at all. So wallflower would be my word.
Wallflower. If I had to put a sign over your head, would not be it. It would be the show. This is the show.
This is Stacey. All this show is because of that. Because that is how I feel. So I do things to make myself stand out because I don't want to stand out. And I'm trying to change that. So the red hair, bright colors, that's me. That's where I'm inside, really. That I don't actually let come out too often.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, in hearing your story, I thought to myself, this is an interesting turn of events. So you would have started your career in banking.
Yes.
Again, doesn't look like banking.
Yes.
And I know you've had all kinds of colored hair for the longest time. This is not new to me. So how did you get into banking after school?
Okay, when I left QC, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. And everybody was going to university. And I said, okay, I'll go to university too. I'm going to go do English and history and get a degree. And then it dawned on me, what am I going to do with an English and history degree? The only thing you can do with that is teach, probably. And I did not want to teach anybody's children. That is not my personality. I probably would be in jail now if that was the case.
Wow.
Right? So after that, my mom was like, well, if you're not going to school, you gotta go and get a job. You know how that was, school or a job.
Yeah.
So I applied and got a job at RBC, and that's how I started in banking. I became a file clerk, and yeah, that was a very long story. Then afterwards,
very long story.
Because I was in the bank for 18 years.
18 years.
18 years. Yeah.
Something that I'm sure was supposed to be a stopgap situation.
Exactly. It was supposed to be, work, make some money, find out what it is you want to do, and then move on. That was not the case.
So what was going through your mind for, I know this sounds weird, 18 years?
To be honest, what was going through my mind was just to be the best banker possible, because I'm doing it and that's who I am. No matter what I do, I'm going to do it the best way I can possible. And I thought, okay, I'm in this, I'm good at it, I can continue to do this.
Okay. And
I'm going to be the best banker possible. And I did that. Up until when I left, I considered myself great at my job. And yeah, I didn't expect to be there for 18 years, but I dove in and I stayed in and I got comfortable. And yeah, I'm glad that I was pushed out because if not, I would probably still be in banking, to be honest.
Wow. I'd still be great at it.
Yes.
Yeah, but comfortable.
But comfortable.
Yes. So looking back now, do you think that at some level, being a business owner was somewhere in your future or not so much?
No, I never gave it any thought to owning my business. Never gave it a thought. I thought that I could be a leader. I always thought I was a leader. But I thought that meant being a supervisor in the bank or that sort of thing, being a manager. I didn't expect that I would ever own a business. Never crossed my mind. Except maybe if my husband owned a business and I helped him. But other than that, because he's the entrepreneurial type. He's that person. So, but I never crossed my mind that I would have that I would ever have a business.
Because again, why are you trying to stand out, right?
Exactly.
When you want to be a wallflower.
Exactly.
All right.
Eskimo. Value, convenience, we got it. 50 stores and services, yeah, we got it all. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, cordless, mall has it all. Eskimo. Right here in Haggett Hall. Eskimo. Convenience for the family. Eskimo. Everything for you and me. Eskimo. Right here, yeah, yeah. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, cordless, mall has it all. Eskimo.
Stacey, when you went into the business with your husband, Carrie, you sounded super prepared, but it's business.
Yes.
What is the one thing you were just not prepared for?
I wasn't prepared for the fact that everything was on us. I was so accustomed to working certain hours and then going home, and that was the end of it until tomorrow. With owning your own business, everything from opening, finances, every letter, every check, everything is on you. And even though somewhere in the back of your mind you should have known that because you're an entrepreneur,
Right.
it was still a shock. It's like, crap.
No one's writing this check?
Exactly. I have to do everything. You know what I mean? And that was a culture shock for me. I was not prepared for that at all. I didn't want to do it anymore.
You really felt like, nah, I'm gonna get a job.
No, sorry. This is not for me.
Wow.
It was scary. I think that was it. It was scary, not finances, everything, not knowing month to month what you were going to make.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was accustomed for 18 years, knowing every 2 weeks, this amount of money is going into my account, and I can pay this bill, I can do this, I can do that. Owning your own business is not like that at all, because business comes first, you come second. I mean, everybody's saying, you should always pay yourself and that sort of stuff. But for us, it was like, no, business first. Whatever's then left back, we will use. And that was a culture shock for me.
Wow. Putting yourself second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a culture shock for me.
Wow. Okay. So eventually, though, you would have caught your footing because you did not flee.
Yeah.
You were still very much there.
Yes.
And even in this COVID environment, it would have been another pivot because it's like, okay, how do we do this now?
Yes.
But even before we get there, you were not allowed to remain comfortable.
No, I was not.
No. What happened there?
About 2 years into working at Basta, working to get that up and going, my husband realized I was spending a little more time doing other things and not necessarily being the best employee.
Really?
For Basta.
You were slackening off?
Just a little. He realized that I was getting more and more into being more creative with something I considered a hobby. And he said to me one day that, Stacey, you know that eventually you're going to leave Basta. That Basta is going to be on the back burner for you. I was like, what are you talking about? Never. Basta is front and center and always will be front and center. This is your business. This is what we're doing. And he's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just that look like, whatever, that type of thing. And he was right. I loved doing what I was doing with Simple Decadence. I loved making things. I loved being creative. And I found that I was more passionate about that than anything at Basta, to be honest. And I wanted to do more of it, but I didn't know how to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I felt guilty trying to step away from Bassa Bassa, but I also wasn't sure if it could be a business, if it's something that I would be good at. And eventually I didn't have to be sure anymore. My husband said, you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
So basically he pushed you off the ledge and said, well, this is what you're going to do.
Exactly. It was like, Stacey, just go do it. It started with Tuesdays and Thursdays. I wouldn't be at the gym. I would just stay home and work and stuff like that. And then eventually he was like, no, you're going to do this. And to do this, you're going to need a space. And you're going to have a launch so that you know that this is what you're doing.
And you can't look back now.
No.
So just tell us what Simple Decadence does.
Simple Decadence does handmade, bespoke event stationery. So what I do is I meet with every single one of my clients because that's a very important step for me. Getting to know you it makes the product so much better. I meet you, we have a conversation. You tell me what your goals are, what it is that you're looking to achieve with your invitation or your product, and I design based on that. I design based on your personality. I design based on whatever the event actually is. So yeah, I don't do cookie cutter. So I will never do for you what somebody else has done for them. So you can't come and say, oh, Stacey,
can I see your catalog?
Exactly. And I saw this on the internet and this is what I want.
Okay.
No, you can bring that to me and that'll be a starting point, but that's not what you're going to get.
Okay.
You know, half the time, first things first, that's copying, that's stealing somebody else's work.
And if you're creative, you don't want any part of that.
Exactly. And a lot of time people don't realize what it is that suits them and what does not, if that makes sense. So you might think, okay, I love this beautiful, elegant, pink scroll invitation. Your personality doesn't say that to me. And a lot of the time, until I show you what your personality says to me, you don't know. You're like, wait. Oh, yeah. Well, I like this so much better.
Okay.
You know, so that's what Simple Decadence does.
At Terrific Tiles, we totally understand all of our customers' needs.
Whether you decided you're redoing your bathroom
or looking to tile your entire home,
our service is guaranteed to give dream results.
It's a terrific time to win a $5,000 shopping spree this Christmas. When you spend $200 or more, you're in with a chance to win. Plus, you can win Farmer's Choice hams and other amazing prizes daily. Let our helpful and friendly staff help give your home the terrific upgrade it deserves. Terrific Tiles. Great prices, great service, great selection.
When I think of bespoke invitations, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is someone's getting married.
Yes.
I need wedding invitations. And I would think that as an industry, you would think, okay, well, I can get this done. A lot of people use, template stuff online and they do their thing reasonably well. I mean, it gets the job done. Yeah. But other things require paper. They require that elegance, that finish, that when I open the envelope, I'm immediately excited. In fact, the envelope should excite me.
Exactly.
And then I open it and I get the surprise. What is it about paper that is still so relevant even in 2020?
I think because, like you said, paper is tactile. People like to have something to touch. People like to have something that they can hold on to remember the event. I think that more than anything is important. People like to have something to file away to look back at later. And necessarily going to the computer and looking at something that's digital does not have that same effect. Yeah. So I think that is why paper is still so important. And paper is awesome.
It
is. I mean, seriously, the colors, the styles. Yes. I have this velvet paper recently that, Gaynelle. Seriously.
I hope I'm being invited to come over and get a little touch.
I have some here, you can touch it.
Oh, great. Great. Because I love a good swatch sample.
Exactly.
Touch.
Paper it's about having that piece of the event that you can keep with you forever, that you can always remember.
Now, an industry like yours, however, I don't see much of a blueprint for it in our business environment. So how did you even know where to start building a business surrounding stationery for bespoke invitations?
it just happened by accident, I would say. A friend of mine asked me to make some 60th birthday invitations for her father. And I did a lot of research online as to what this would look like. I asked her what he liked doing. And I made invitations for him that she loved and everybody loved. And from then I was like, oh, this is something that people are willing to pay for. And then my wedding happened and everything was so expensive. I had bespoke invitations for my wedding, and having to afford them stopped me from being able to afford other things I wanted. So menus, all that sort of stuff. So I pulled apart my wedding invitation, to see how it was done. And then I mimicked it for all of my other wedding stationery. I made all of my other wedding stationery. And I think at that point in time, I was like, no, this is something I love to do. I love the cutting. I love the putting together, all the little nuances of that. I love doing that. And that's where the business, the hobby started. There's no blueprint for my business. There isn't, because like you said, there's not a lot of people doing it. There are people making invitations, yes, but not necessarily bespoke invitations. So I'm feeling my way along and making the blueprint as I go. So that maybe in a couple years, somebody else who wants to do it can
look
follow
at the
me.
Stacey Holder blueprint.
Exactly. I think I'm doing an okay job with it. I like people are happy with what I do.
Eskimo. Value, convenience, we got it. 50 stores and services, yeah, we got it all. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, court, this mall has it all. Eskimo. Right here in Haggett Hall. Eskimo. Convenience for the family. Eskimo. Everything for you and me. Eskimo. Right here, yeah. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, court, this mall has it all. Eskimo.
Stacey, unfortunately, 2020 is just going to be that year where every time we mention it, the word COVID-19, pandemic, new normal, all these navigating words are just going to come into play. So I have to ask you, how have you been able to balance your care responsibilities with your business responsibilities?
It hasn't been that hard, to be honest, because my business is event driven. COVID-19 stopped a lot of events. So therefore, a lot of my business was put on hold. So I was able to spend a lot more time with my husband, which was awesome, because I think this is the first time in 5 years we actually had a vacation. And I also got to spend a lot more time with my family, including Zahara, my niece. And well, from afar, because at first nobody was going anywhere.
Right.
When it first started, nobody was leaving home. And she lives with my mother, who's over 70. So we were being very careful. So it was a lot of FaceTiming with her and playing with her via FaceTime.
A lot of data, yeah.
Yes. And luckily we're home, so Wi-Fi, that's okay.
Okay, great.
Yes. So my business was kind of put on hold. And it was hard, to be honest, because being a creative, you always want to be creating. And not having that outlet affected me mentally, emotionally, to be honest. And I didn't feel like creating anymore.
Really?
Funny enough, I needed to be creative to feel like being creative. So it was this full circle, and I couldn't do it. But family time became very important, and I'm going to be very honest, I enjoyed lockdown because it meant I didn't really have to see a lot of people.
Because you're the wallflower.
Exactly. I got to be home a lot. I got to be home with my husband and reconnect, because working together is a different thing altogether than just being husband and wife.
Right.
Business is business.
Yeah.
And when we're at work, we're at work. And so it was nice being home during COVID. But I didn't like the fact that from a financial perspective, everything stopped.
Oh, nobody liked that.
Everything stopped.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder also, now that you mentioned the financial aspect, what kind of policies would you like to see put in place to help business owners like yourself navigate a pandemic like COVID that could literally grind things to a halt?
One of the biggest things is online sales. Most businesses nowadays, but we're no longer tied to just being in Barbados.
Right.
Because of Instagram, because of the World Wide Web.
Yes.
We can now sell to almost anybody, anywhere in the world. However, you can't necessarily get the funds in because you can't take online payments unless you spend a good deal of money doing the infrastructure, getting all that stuff put in place. So simple things like PayPal and Shopify, things that are easy to use, we can't necessarily benefit from. So stuff like that, I think if policies could change, I know there's anti-money laundering because I work in the bank.
Exactly.
So I get the anti-money laundering stuff, but there has to be a happy medium. And right now we don't have that happy medium. And I think when Barbados was shut down, if we had, yes, the world was shut down, but there were still other places that were having events. The Netherlands never shut down.
They never did.
You see, so there were places that were still open that we could have sold to.
Yes.
And being able to ship readily, being able to import things readily. Those are a lot of policies easily and not be too out of pocket for it. Yes, we have to pay that. We want to pay that.
Yeah.
You know, that's our economy. So we want to support our economy. But we also need to generate more money to help our economy.
Right.
And that means bringing in foreign exchange. And bringing in foreign exchange needs to be made easier for entrepreneurs. Right now, it's not an easy thing.
Many of the participants in the Pivot series that I spoke to spoke very readily about having the Caribbean as their marketplace holistically. Caribbean, Latin America.
Yes.
That's a massive market.
It is.
If we can get things together to make that happen.
Definitely. Yeah. I've had clients from America want to purchase stuff from me. But it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have to go through the whole wire transfer and, you know, it's not easy. And they don't want to have to go through that. They would just sit on their computer, hit click, click. And I would look in my computer and say, oh, I have the funds and we're good to go.
Right.
It needs to be that easy. And it can be that easy. We just need to put the framework in place for it.
Well, while we get that in place, because I feel like it's going to be in place at some point to make this work, what would you tell another woman who might be sitting on her passion thinking to herself, I would do it, but I'm so uncertain and I don't know if I'm that person, even though I'm good at this thing. What would you tell her about starting her own business?
I would tell her to do it, but only if she's ready, because it's not an easy journey. It's an excellent journey. I love where I am. I love who I am becoming, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. However, do it as small as you need to do it until you can do it big. So if you need to just sell to a few people, do that until you get comfortable, and then sell to a few more. And keep growing like that until grow into your comfort. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Do it until you can do it big. Do it small until you can do it big.
Operate to scale.
Exactly.
I like that. And finally, I have to ask you personally now, knowing all you've been through, who you've become, the amazing journey, would you have done this sooner, or are you relatively satisfied with your timing?
I would have definitely done it sooner. If my husband had gone off his ass, maybe get off my ass sooner, if I can say ass. I think I would have been happier doing it sooner. I think I would have been further along, and I'm enjoying it. And I think I would have enjoyed it if I had started it when I was younger. Enjoyed it more. I think I would have been further along on my journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would have been, Simple Decadence might actually at Simple Decadence events right now, as opposed to just, I don't like saying just, so I would need to change that, because just makes it sound like it's the just thing and it's not.
Right.
I think I'd be bigger now if I had started sooner. And I would have had more knowledge. The teething pains would not have been
as immense.
So yeah, I think I would have started sooner for sure.
I think I've indulged in this conversation. I've had a decadent conversation with you. I have so many different perspectives now of Stacey Holder. And I can definitely tell you, as someone who got an invitation to that launch, did not disappoint. And there's something to be said for when you see the space and you officially say, I am open for business.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
It did.
Everything
really did.
Changes.
It did. It made it real.
Yes.
It made it real. It was no longer a hobby. This is now what I am doing. This is now who I am.
Yeah. And we like her. Stacey, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Gaynelle.
And for all of our pivoters out there, we know that you definitely enjoyed it. Follow her on Instagram, Simple Decadence, and you will indulge in all of the pretty, pretty photos of the pretty, pretty invitations and start getting creative because listen, paper is here for a long time. Enjoy the feel, the tactile touch of it all, and let Stacey take you to a whole new level with your invitations. Until our next fantastic segment, continue to pivot and enjoy your journey.
At Terrific Tiles, we totally understand all of our customers' needs.
Whether you decided you're redoing your bathroom
Or looking to tile your entire home.
our service is guaranteed to give dream results.
It's a terrific time to win a $5,000 shopping spree this Christmas. When you spend $200 or more, you're in with a chance to win. Plus, you can win Farmer's Choice hams and other amazing prizes daily. Let our helpful and friendly staff help give your home the terrific upgrade it deserves. Terrific Tiles. Great prices, great service, great selection.